Are you ready for the Pats Nation? The only real deal Patriots postgame show. And now, CORSO CATONE.
Welcome into the Pats Nation, the only Patriots postgame show worth watching. I'm Chris Corso alongside Mark Catone, and Joe Guarnieri is in the booth. And hey, you're watching us live on YouTube, listening live on Podbean. And if you miss any of this show, hey, you can get on YouTube anytime and rewatch it, or you can pick it up on iHeartRadio. And Joe's got us up live on the stream going and the chat going on YouTube. So make sure you chat in, call in 855-313-PATS. We want to know how you feel about this Week 18 as it sees the New England Patriots travel to Buffalo in an all-important must-win situation to get to the playoffs, and they lose 35-23, thus ending the Patriots season. And look, we've got a packed one. We want to get to all of it today. We're going to have Mac Mania, of course, Coach's Corner, and our Sunday Stiff. But getting into this one, Mark, I mean, just generally speaking, look, yesterday on CORSO CATONE, we had our predictions. Mark had it at about 40 to 17. I had it around 50 to 21. Mark?
Well, listen, I give them credit on defense and offense. They did have some fight in them today, right? They definitely had some fight in them. Was it good enough? No. Was it a microcosm of their season? Yes. Listen, can't make plays in crucial situations. Poor coaching, not enough skilled players on the offensive side of the ball. Just things we've seen all year long, Chris, showed up again today. Even though, as I said, I give them credit because I think on offense and defense, they had fight in them. That was not an easy environment to play in today with everything that's transpired in the last week. However, bottom line is you're not good enough.
It depends on how it depends on how you want to be today. And of course, I'm wearing the red shirt, so we know I'm going to be negative and
not
rotten
good enough.
and shit-eating. But it depends on how you want to look at this today. You want to look at and take those positives away and say, they fought, they punched, they didn't just lay down and all that.
They really did.
Right. But you could also look at this game, and I do, as saying what went on that field today is a microcosm of the entire season and the ineptness of what Bill Belichick has become, honestly, because special teams lost the game today. Special teams, Mark.
Yeah. Listen, you're not going to get no argument from me. I told you he should have went last year. You were the one who was saying, nah, he's still a great coach. Listen, I told you last year. Actually, I told you 2 years ago when you moved on from Brady, it was time to turn the page from the whole era. But nobody wanted to listen to me. They thought I was crazy. If you're turning the page from Brady, then you should have turned the page from the old man, Belichick, because that's what he looked old today. He looked old today and stale out there with that goddamn special teams. I hope that guy's not on the plane coming home.
Yeah, well, people still think you're crazy. It's just, you were right, and you're still crazy. So, but you're right, Mark. And we want to break it all down. We're going to break it all down. But, well, of course, we want to start with Mac Jones. And let's get to Mac Mania. Joe?
Mac Mania!
26 of 40 for 243 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He was sacked one time for a 9-yard loss. Kind of ran around a couple of other times, got some pressure. But, how do you rate his overall performance today?
Not good. Not good. I don't care what his number. He ended up ultimately throwing 3 picks. But even before the 3 picks, when he had 3 touchdowns and no interceptions, the both of us said, listen, there's a lot of things out there he's not doing well. He's not picking up reads. He's not throwing. He's not looking guys off. He's not picking things up, and he's not throwing to the right guy. And when he does, he's still throwing behind guys. He's throwing fluttering passes. He's just, I was not impressed with him. I don't care if he threw 3 touchdowns, Chris. I wasn't impressed with him today.
He he did a lot of good. He did a lot of good things that he wasn't doing well all season long, and some of the deep balls that he threw were pretty good. One of them to Parker that what kind of went off his helmet at the end, but I thought he got the ball out there enough for Parker to be able to adjust and catch the ball. I think his receivers let him down some. So some of the deeper balls were thrown pretty well, but yeah, again, you have to look in. You have to really, really pay attention and look closely. And that's why that's why this is the only Patriots post-game show worth watching, because I don't need to watch the film. We have it. We're on it. And yeah, Mark's right. He's fluttering. The ball was fluttering out of his hands a lot of lame duck kind of throws, balls that should have been put on a line, coming out a second late. Kendrick Bourne was moving, and I think it was Bourne, right, Mark? And he was moving across the field, and it was a completed pass, okay? But it was kind of a lame duck throw. Now, you could see the two windows. You could see the two throwing lanes in the zone, okay? And Bourne was coming through one, past the underneath defender, and then opened up into that other hole, and that's where Mac Jones threw it. But that ball needed to be released when he was in that first window. When Bourne was running through that first window, that ball had to be a zip. And I think he catches it in stride and can get more yards. Stuff like that. Okay. It's stuff like that we were seeing. Balls kind of fluttering away, overthrows. What's that ball down the sideline to Aguilar, his first interception, and at a key time.
That was a key moment in the game. Yeah. Yep.
What did you see on that throw?
That was a bad throw. He threw it. He overthrew him a little bit. He let him too much, but Aguilar also showed no fight. Right? Yeah. What fight did he show? Thank God today's the last game with him in a Patriot uniform. Goodbye. Because I hated the signing, and he's been nothing but a disappointment since he got here. But you got to show a little bit of fight on that, Chris, as a receiver, right? I realize it was a bad throw, but my God.
You do. But for Mac Jones, yeah, I mean, he threw some balls well, but Chris, he threw some balls bad.
The other ball, Chris, in the end zone, that to Harris in the running back in the corner of the end zone, he underthrows it. As you pointed out, Chris, to me during the game, if he throws it higher into the corner where Harris can make a play, they would have called pass interference, because it was clearly pass interference by the defender. But because that ball was so underthrown, they didn't throw the flag.
Yeah, because the linebacker was heading into his body. First of all, it was PI to begin with.
It was, but
it was PI to begin with, but it didn't need to be as close. Sometimes as a quarterback, you got to throw those PIs. You got to throw the PIs. You meaning get the ball, just what Mark said. Get the ball where it needs to go. So you're either going to get a catch or you're going to get the PI, because the defender has nothing else that they can do but try to play that window, especially when it's a linebacker. And you saw it at the beginning of that play. I noticed immediately, one-on-one, top of the screen with Harris and a linebacker. That's where you need to go with the ball. And that's where he did go with the ball, except that, the ball's too underthrown to get the PI call. So it's things like that if you are going to stick with Mac Jones, he's got to have to do better. He's got to be better. He's got to be,
if he's able to do better, if he has the ability and the skill set to do better.
And you said yesterday, that's it. You don't think it. You don't think this is the guy.
I think he is who he is, Chris. I mean, we talked about yesterday on our show the receivers he had at Alabama that made him look good. You know what I mean? I think he is what he is, and I don't know. I guess if you surround him with a bunch of weapons, like Philadelphia did for Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's fine.
He's either this guy is either Kirk Cousins or he's what's his name? Andy Dalton. He's either one of those two guys. And if he's Dalton, he's done. He's not the guy. If he's Kirk Cousins, you can win with that kind of guy. You can win with Kirk Cousins,
but maybe you can.
Yeah, you can win with him, but he's not going to win for you. He's not going to be the reason you win, but you can win with him. And there's a big difference there, because Mark, even the subtle things, blitz pickup. There was a play today where he had Myers in the slot. It was clear there was somebody creeping in. The blitz was coming. There was going to be somebody coming off Myers to him, and you could see it coming. And Mac Jones for sure didn't go to a hot read and read that blitz coming off the edge and throw to Myers on a hot read. And it didn't look like Myers read it either.
No. Nope.
Because he allowed the linebacker or that deeper defender to sit under that route when it should have been just a quick slant, get the ball right to where the blitzer is coming from. So it's things like that, setting protections, stuff like that. Guys loading into the box, Mark. And I don't want to keep belaboring it, but guys coming into the box, seeing it, and not checking out of a run to a play action and that. But he did run the play action well. But yeah, Mark, there's a lot of holes still.
No, yeah. I listen, like I said, I think we've seen enough of him this year where there are a lot of holes, and maybe those holes can be filled, Chris, if you have the proper coaching staff to fill them, which we obviously don't have that either. And we'll get into that in Coach's Corner. But you don't have the coaching staff to fill the holes. So that's another major problem.
Right. And moving to the rest of the offensive performance today. I mean, look, yesterday we come down to the offensive line. Talked about it. The offensive line is a huge problem. It continues to be. I didn't think they played all that bad today. What did you see?
No, the offensive line, Chris, actually played better than I thought they would. I think their run blocking was good. I think they did a good job in the running game. And listen, Jones wasn't running for his life all day long, Chris. He was able to sit back there, make some throws, make some reads. And so the offensive line, Chris, this was probably the best game they've played in a while collectively, both in the run and in the pass. And the offensive line gave us an opportunity on offense to win this game, Chris, I thought.
They hit Mac Jones 4 times. They sacked him once. So, I mean, that's not too bad. I mean,
considering some of the games we've watched.
Yeah, after that first series, I mean, when the first series went down, okay, I mean, after that debacle on the special teams, when the first series happened, I was like, okay, here we go, 3 and out, we're screwed. He was, they got some pressure there, and then after that, they settled down. And I thought the run blocking was well. They rushed 23 times for 107 yards, so they break the 100-yard mark for, I don't know, the first time in a while, right?
First time in a while, yeah. And Chris, Trent Brown actually played well today for a change.
Yeah. Well, the offensive line is going to, next Saturday when we do on CORSO and Catone, we're bringing in Pat's Nation and we're going to do our season recap show. We're going to talk about, we're going to talk about the offensive line, some of the things they need to do. But all in all, today, I thought they played okay. I don't think the penalties, and I'm looking them up now as far as how many penalties they had. But on offense, I don't think it was that many. I mean, they had two penalties for 20 yards. So not too bad. Running back wise, listen, they rushed for 100 yards. Stevenson and Harris, equally, they were pretty equal there. But,
I thought Stevenson, Chris, could have been in the game more in certain situations, in certain downs, and he wasn't. And I think they both played okay, but I thought the combination could have had Stevenson in on a few plays that Harris was in on, and I think you would have gotten more of a positive out of Stevenson.
Did you think that? See, when because Harris had 13 carries, Stevenson had 6.
Yeah.
Are they concerned about his health? I mean, it's a must-win game to go to the playoffs. In the red zone, they had Harris running the ball, and I thought it should have been Stevenson. So I don't.
Yeah, well, Belichick. Is it because he's put the ball on the ground a little bit?
I don't know.
You know how he is.
He's still your best. He's still your best.
No,
option.
I understand that, but you know how Belichick is from the 1950s.
Well, all the more reason then that the door should be closed, perhaps, because but I thought the backs ran well. They ran hard. They made a lot of things. Offensive line played well there. But what did you make of the receivers today? Because again, this is one of those games where we thought it was going to be a hell of a lot uglier than this. I mean, we really did. I mean, to their credit, they showed up and played. They played hard. 7 different receivers caught balls today. Go ahead.
To our credit, if you tuned in yesterday to the Sunday spread, our lock of the week, we had it.
I was getting nervous. I was getting really, really worried for a few minutes over there today. I'm thinking, oh, crap.
In all seriousness, though. But hey, we gave everybody our lock of the week, Buffalo Bills, yesterday. We gave it out. If you were listening, tune in. Could have made a little bit of money today. I told you to parlay them with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Could have made a little bit of money. Tune in every Saturday for our locks of the week.
So with the receivers, look, Parker had a good game. He had 7 targets, 6 receptions. He had 2 touchdowns. His best game as a Patriot, no question.
Chris, he just can't stay on the field.
No. But the other thing is they used him. They jump balls to him today. High point balls. That's his game.
What did I tell you when they threw the ball to Aguilar?
Yeah, why isn't that Parker, he said.
Because Parker would have at least fought for the ball.
I mean, Mark was spitting and drooling all over himself at the time he said it. Parker, why not Parker? Yeah, I mean, you're
Chris,
right.
He would have at least fought for the ball.
No,
right?
Listen, Parker, I thought, had a great game. Bourne, again, 5 targets, 4 catches. Bourne just keeps making plays. He just keeps making plays.
He's not on the field enough.
No. Jacoby Myers, he had 7 targets, only 3 receptions. Some of that was Mac Jones. A lot of that was short hops. Balls were kind of thrown behind them. I didn't see him drop a ball today.
I don't think
Hunter
so.
Hunter Henry had over 5 targets. He had 7 for 6 catches. Let's talk about
was Jonnu
Aguilar.
Smith inactive again?
Yeah. Let's I think with a concussion. I mean,
okay. He had an
I don't
injury.
know. How many weeks?
He's still out. I don't know. Whatever.
Talk to me about Aguilar. That was the only throw to him, by the way. And I don't think he came back in the game again.
Chris, there's no fight in him. There's no there's no fight to him. That's not the first time, Chris, where he hasn't fought for a ball, okay, in the last couple of seasons, okay? In the playoff game last year in Buffalo, remember? We felt as though he could have went for the ball, right? So Aguilar,
or if he's on a slant, he coughs it up.
Yeah, I mean, listen, what game was it earlier in the year, Chris, where they threw the ball up to the corner where the ball was supposed to be thrown? We were behind, and we might have been able to tie the game. I forget what game it was earlier in the year, and it was to Aguilar.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Forget who it was. We lost, but we would have had an opportunity perhaps to tie the game.
Yeah, and again, it's the same. I think it was Buffalo. I think it was the first Buffalo game at home.
It might have been the first Buffalo game. You're right. It might have been. I don't remember.
But again, this guy's been a stiff since he got here, and he remains that. And it's so irritating to watch an NFL football player not fight, not show any fight, and he's throwing his arms up in the air like, what happened? They just intercepted the ball. What do you mean? What happened? You stink. That's what happened.
Thankfully, this is it for him, right? He only had a 2-year contract, so he's done.
Yeah,
so he
I
won't
can't
be back.
imagine
There's no way you can bring him back. No possible way.
No, you're better as it sits now without him, just with what you got. I mean, without that guy in the field, make no mistake. They need a number one. Mark, listen, we don't. There's no number one. I know how you are on Thornton. I get it. Okay, I get it.
No, but listen, I'm not even. It's not even Thornton, Chris. I've been screaming for a number one for years.
You have, and to your credit, you haven't said Thornton's a number one.
He's not.
You just said you like him. You think he could be something down the sidelines. I just think he's a guy that can run fast.
Okay,
that's it. I think he's a guy that can run fast.
And maybe that's all he is.
There's so many holes in his game that has to be fixed, and I don't think Troy Brown is the guy to fix it, to help him fix it. Okay. So, and that, to your point, to your defense on this kid Thornton, who the hell's teaching him? Who's he getting coaching from? Because the receiving corps stinks. And
the kid that scored 2 touchdowns yesterday for Kansas City, you and I was screaming for the Patriots to trade for the kid, Kadarius Toney from the Giants, right? Call up the coach of the Giants, because he's only got the job because you vouched for him, Belichick, and say, listen, I want Toney. I'll give you a 6th-round draft pick. You owe me. I want him. You give him so you let him go to Kansas City. Really?
Yeah. Again, it's this receiver room is fine if you have a 1.
Yes.
If you have a Diggs, if you have a Chase, look, and you know what? You say, well, who gets Diggs and who gets Chase? Listen, you can go to a lot of teams in the league now who have that guy. That guy.
Diggs wanted to come here. Brady was the quarterback at the time, and you didn't want to give up the capital to go get him. Buffalo did. And it wouldn't have taken that much, Chris. He wanted to come play with Brady.
Yep.
And that really might have been the last straw with Brady because he wanted Diggs.
Yeah. I mean, look at what he's done in Buffalo. I mean, we saw Diggs catch that touchdown pass today in the end zone. And and I said, that's where I got so pissed off. I'm like, yeah, we have nobody that can do that. We don't have anyone that can do that crap. So offensively, it was a good performance. They scored 23 points in this game. I think that the offense played well enough to be able to win the game. I do.
Yep.
But there were so many other things wrong. And you know what? Before we go to, we have a few minutes in this segment that we can talk about, because typically we don't bring up in depth and in detail special teams. Okay. But we need to. We absolutely have to. And we're going to do it right now because, Mark, is that the game today?
Yeah, that cost you the game positively because, Chris, you let them start the game off. They're going to heavy hot. There's a lot of emotion in the stadium. You let them get a touchdown on the opening kickoff, and then you have put yourself in position to win this football game. You kick the ball off again in the second, another touchdown. In the second,
they took the lead.
Quarter.
They had taken a 3-point lead.
They take the lead. You kick off, and listen. And on the second touchdown, Chris, your buddy Miles Bryant, what was he doing?
Well, first of all, how that guy is allowed
the first touchdown, though, Chris. You think there was a special teams blunder on that opening kickoff?
I think it was from the kicker.
Yeah.
I thought maybe it was the punter that was kicking off, but it was Folk all three times.
It was Folk.
All three screw-ups because they had 2 kick returns and they had that kick out of bounds where now they're afraid to kick to the guy because your kick coverage sucks so bad. And now they're trying to squib kick it, and he kicks the ball out of bounds. I mean, So, no, on the first one, because it looked like they were running we call it a squeeze, okay? Where normally you see the ball kick to one of the sidelines to say about the 10-yard line so that they have to field it, but you're squeezing the kick returner into that quadrant. And what you normally do is on one side of the kicker, you put 6 guys, and on the other side of the kicker, you put 4. Now, I don't know what the alignment was. I'd have to go back and see if that's the alignment. But that outside, that other side with the 4 guys, usually the 2 end guys switch, and the inside guy has contains. That would have been strong at that point. But I don't know that ball was supposed to be kicked down the center. I think that ball was supposed to be one of those squeeze kicks down to the right side, where you're kicking, that vantage point. Because the whole edge was gone, was lost. Peppers came inside, and Strong got caught inside. Yeah. So I think the kicker screwed up, and I think Strong screwed up by not setting the edge. I know we're breaking down a special teams kickoff, but Mark, listen, that's cost you the game. I mean, that's the friggin' game, and it's cost them all season long. Special teams has cost them all season long. Yeah, it has. Absolutely. Whether it be kick coverage or whether it be a guy roughing the punter or, an offsides call and to have it twice in a game, Mark?
Twice. In a must, not just in a game, in a must-win game. You're fighting for your playoff lives, and that happens twice to you. And then they squib kick it out of bounds.
I mean, and at that point you knew, you're like, this is just not, it's not going to happen. But what did you see? What did you see on the second one? But
you know what's even more disgusting, Chris, though?
Yeah.
Is Bill Belichick, that's supposed to be his expertise, is special teams. That everybody, Bill Belichick, nobody's better on special teams than Belichick. He pays attention to that. But, okay, so how do you have that buffoon coaching special teams still when he should have been gone at the end of last season because their special teams was atrocious last season? So you brought this clown back for another year of this? That's on Belichick, Chris.
If it was, it is on Belichick. If it wasn't for Marcus Jones and Folk in the kicking game, as far as the field goal game, because the punting sucked all year.
Punting was awful all year.
Even when Bailey was in there, it was bad.
And you gave Bailey more money.
Yeah, now you suspended him. Now they're trying to take back the money. They're trying to take back the guaranteed money.
Oh, sure they are. You bet they are.
Because suspending them means you don't have to. Next year, you don't have to pay that guaranteed money.
Yeah.
So, Mark, the second one, you talked about Miles Bryant. Miles Bryant should never see the football field again. Look, they blocked it up pretty well on the second one. Give them credit. But Miles Bryant has a perfect opportunity to make a play. It would have just been a real good return and not a touchdown. He doesn't wrap up. He throws his shoulder into him. To me, it went with the wrong shoulder and just get run over. To say nothing about what happened on defense, which we're going to get to right after this break. But that cost them the game.
Oh, special teams absolutely cost them the game. Well, yeah, special teams cost them the game today. I would say that. Absolutely.
It cost them the game. The attention to detail's not there anymore. And that's what you can say.
Nope.
That the attention to detail's not there with this team anymore. And it's because of the big guy, Belichick. Period.
It's time. It's time. Listen. It's time. I'm not saying he's not the greatest ever. Listen, he's the greatest ever has ever done it. I get it, but it's time. It is time. It's time to move on. You have to, Chris. You cannot continue. Listen, he's never taking you to another Super Bowl. I said this to you at the beginning of the year. We will not win another Super Bowl as long as he is the head coach. It's just because you're not. The game has changed too much, Chris. I'm not saying if you brought number 12, but you had number 12 still here and other pieces maybe, but you don't have him anymore. And it's just, it's time for a change. I mean, Jesus, the coaching staff he built, what is that?
Especially on offense. So this portion of the Pats Nation was presented by Special Sauce Podcast. What's your special sauce? SpecialSaucePodcast.com. Hey, when we come back, we're going to go to a brighter side of the field and talk a little bit of defense as well as Coach's Corner, Sunday Stiff. That's all coming up right after this.
It's the Special Sauce Podcast. You like the song? The sauce is good, man.
This will start off as finance drive. Train them, trust them, and let them lead.
With your host, Marcus Aurelius.
$35-23, the Patriots drop to the Buffalo Bills and get bumped from playoff contention, and the season is over for the New England Patriots. Talked about the offense, talked about the ugly stuff over there and the coaching and so on. But, Mark, when you flip to the defense, okay, this team has come on. I thought the second half, since the bye, I think the defense has played well. I think they've had them in every game. I think they've had breakdowns. They've had times that they've had issues, and it's always been the center of the field, the middle of the field with the lack of athleticism at the inside linebacker spot. But today, and those are things we're going to get to next Saturday on our on our season recap.
And that goes
show.
back, and that goes back to the coach as well. But we're going to get to that next week.
It does. But look, Josh Allen, he's 19 of 31 for 254 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Okay. The 3 touchdowns, got it. We got one of the guys we know, or 2 at least, 2 of the touchdowns. Miles Bryant was, front and center on those. But they looked good. Josh Allen didn't look as good as normal with this defense today, and I thought they showed up. What did you see?
Well, Chris, think about it. Last January, they didn't punt once. We couldn't get them off the field last January, remember?
2 games.
So it's 2 games, right? So it's a big difference, Chris, compared to what we saw at the end of last season from this defense when we went up against Buffalo, right? Big difference. We controlled the edge. You brought up, Chris, pressure packages that they had today, and you were really impressed with their pressure packages that they brought today to throw at Allen. And so the defense, listen, the middle of the field, Chris, has been a problem for a couple of years now, and that continues to be a problem. And listen, not that it's an excuse, but your secondary was missing a lot of guys, Chris. So when you're missing 2 Mills and Jones, basically 2 starters from your secondary, it's going to show, right? And it shows in key situations over the last 2 or 3 weeks. It is shown, but you're missing guys.
Yeah, and I mean, look, yes, and I thought the secondary under the circumstances played as well as they could, And yeah, we could start there. I mean, Stephon Diggs had 10 targets, 7 receptions, 104 yards, and a touchdown. So that's he had a day. He had a day today. But if you go down the rest of the list, and he threw to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He threw to 8 different receivers. He completed passes to 8 different receivers, which is not uncommon for him. But nobody had more than 3 catches after Diggs. That's good. That's a good job. I mean, that's a good job by the secondary, I thought. They gave up some big plays here and there. I know you don't want to give them a pass. They couldn't get off the field. The touchdown, was that the touchdown to Diggs?
Yeah, it was.
Where it was third and
10.
Third and 10. And so for that, you got to get on them, right?
Yeah. Well, you critiqued Jones's coverage on that. I mean, you're in zone. But there's nobody there. But you have to turn and run with them.
Yeah. Well, the two things I saw in that play. It looked to me like Miles Bryant was supposed to get a reroute. So it looked to me like...
You love to bring up Miles Bryant.
Well, because he sucks. But it looked like Miles Bryant was supposed to get a reroute. So Diggs is coming off the ball, and Bryant's supposed to just give him a shot, reroute a little bit, give somebody time to get over the top. And that it was half-assed at best. But then Jonathan Jones, he's playing that deep third, it looked like to me. Okay? And there's nobody else near the zone but Diggs. Yeah. So what the hell are you looking at? He's looking forward, Mark, and Diggs is going by him. And I'm like, turn and run with the guy. I just...
And it's not like you're playing a guy that's got no speed, Chris.
Oh, no.
You know Diggs can move.
Yeah, he can run away. He can run away from you. So there were breakdowns in the secondary, but to their defense, you had to, I guess, put Miles Bryant on the field because Jack Jones is hurt. Mills was hurt. A couple other guys were out today too.
Yeah.
What else did you have?
The kid Wade is always inactive. He's not anything. We thought he could be something. He's nothing. But Chris, what we talked about, you and I, was the kid. I think his name might have been Mitchell. The kid that they signed, the corner from Cleveland in the offseason.
Is it Malcolm Mitchell or Marcus, something like that?
Something like that. You put him on the practice squad, and somebody picked him up off your practice squad. Okay? So you mean to tell me he couldn't have given you more than Miles Bryant? Is that what they're telling me? Because I find that hard to believe that kid. I'm not saying he was a starter because he wasn't, but in preseason, the first preseason game, they had him out there with the first unit. So they saw something maybe in the kid. But you mean to tell me he couldn't have given you more than Miles Bryant?
The only thing you need to know about Miles Bryant is that play today where Allen was scrambling. It was similar to the first meeting they had. Where Allen was scrambling out to the same side and just threw back across, and I think it was Davis came open.
You're right.
Because 2 or 3 guys
I forgot about that play from the first game. You're right, Chris.
Well, in this situation, Allen's rolling out to the right because it was to his right, so it was a roll, and he's rolling out to the right, scrambling out to the right, and was it Davis again? Somebody snuck behind.
I think it was Davis.
Yeah. Whoever the receiver was just got behind, just did what you're supposed to do on a scramble drills, get downfield. And Miles Bryant's just hopping. He's hopping, looking forward. You got 2 or 3 defensive backs in front of you for anything that's in front. I would rather give up 5-10 yards there, turn my ass around, and go with the receiver downfield. Instead, he's just sitting there hopping around. I'm like, you got to hop his way right out of the friggin' league, Mark. That's where he's hopping his way to. Okay.
So I don't understand how he's on an NFL field. Listen, I don't know. I just don't. I just find it hard to believe that this is 2 years in a row now. This kid's been on a football field for you in your secondary. It's beyond me. Totally beyond me. And the linebackers, Chris. Yeah. Listen, you
got to make me give him love. I know you are today.
A couple of things. You've talked about this, Chris, for a couple of years now, where you've had a list of linebackers in free agency, and more importantly, in the draft, that you feel as though could help this football team. and he just won't do it. He will not do it. He brought in a couple of free agents. He brought in the kid Wilson Sr., and he brought in the kid Raquel McMillan. But those guys were busts. They didn't do what he thought they wanted to do. You know, so that middle of the field, that linebacker group, which used to be Belichick's strong point, was linebacking. In the old days, his idea of a linebacker is not the 2023 definition of a linebacker. But that's going to have to be addressed because it showed its head again today. But I am going to have to give number 8 a little bit of love today. I'm going to have to do it, Chris. Bentley actually did not play a bad game today. He didn't.
Yeah, I mean, he had seven tackles, 4 solo. No, he didn't play poorly today. He was in better positions, even on the pass, even out in zone. He looked like he was getting in throwing lanes. So no, he played pretty good. Tavi played okay too. I would say that the two of them probably collectively against the pass today probably played their best game of the season. Those two guys, you know. But again, so Mark, I have one question for you. Would you rather have right now Kobe Dean, or Cole Strange?
Kobe Dean.
Okay. I mean, that's it. There it is. You probably could have had them both. But
yeah, you absolutely could have had them both.
You know, and again, Cole Strange may become something. He may become something great. You know, it's a guard. It's a guard, man. You can get a guard. You can develop a guard. Tell me about a speed linebacker in the center of the field. Again, I guess this is more of a conversation for next week, probably, right?
Yeah, and Chris, you brought up yesterday, and a reason why you should really tune into our shows on Saturday. You brought up yesterday that you don't like when they dropping guys like Judon and Uche into coverage, and they did it again today on the touchdown pass that Allen threw. One of the touchdown passes in the end zone. Uche is in coverage. Judon is in coverage. So you're letting him sit back there. There's no one's on the edge coming at him. He throws a touchdown pass because Judon's in the end zone.
Yeah, over the last several weeks, you've been dropping Judon and Uche into coverage a lot. More than I would expect. And you know, in that situation, look.
And is that because your linebackers are so bad?
Maybe. I mean, maybe you're trying to plug up in the, you know, maybe I guess maybe what you're trying to do is you're playing what it may look like a 2 shell where you got 2 guys back and you're really flooding the underneath to try to deal with crossers and things like that those inside linebackers just can't run with. So maybe that's the issue. And I have to go back and look at the film more so to see if that was what was happening today. And I do plan on going back and look at the last several games because I want to know why. I'd like to see why Uche and Judon are dropping back. And in that situation, looking at the front, their pressure packages today I thought was fantastic. And Mark, you made a comment during the game, towards the end of the game, that they just gave the rest of the AFC the blueprint of a pressure package against this team because Josh Allen, was not able to get out and run. There was one time that I saw that Uche got up the field too much, playing behind him a little bit, and Allen snuck underneath. But he rushed the ball 9 times for 16 yards. That's a win.
That's a huge
It isn't like
win.
he didn't try. He ran 9 times.
That's a huge win. Huge win.
Now I didn't see any design quarterback runs happen. Most of that was due to the pressure. But for only 16 yards, and I would say probably 10 of them were on that play.
Yeah.
And it was just a lapse by Uche getting a little too far behind upfield, behind the receiver, you know, and he ducked underneath.
Chris,
but they were running a lot of twists. They were running a lot of things that would generate pressure up the center while sealing the edge, Mark. Go ahead.
And on one of them, Chris, he threw a ball where the tight end goes up about as high as he can go up and pulls the ball down with one hand. And if he don't make the play, I think it was Duggar is behind him. It's probably a pick six because with Duggar's speed, he's probably taking that the other way for a touchdown. So Allen caught a break on that, but that again was because of the pressure you're talking about. Forced that pass. Yes, Knox made a great play, made the play, caught it. However, the pressure almost cost him to throw a pick there, and it probably would have been a pick six because Duggar was sitting there waiting.
Yeah, and there was another play in the first series where Duggar had a shot at an interception and didn't have it. So yeah, Allen could have thrown probably three picks today, maybe even four. But I thought the pressure packages were great, and they were able to get it done with four guys.
Yeah,
I thought Bondmore had a fantastic game. I mean, he was driving either the center or the guard straight back into Allen's face. And I thought Uche, and I thought Judon, I thought Wise. I thought they did a great job of setting that edge and not playing too far upfield, keeping him on a 90-degree angle, okay, and really forcing him. He got out. I mean, he rolled out a little bit, but they were able to recover off the edges. And again, I thought what they were doing up front was great today. It's the best pressure package I've seen them this season. And I don't know that I've seen too many teams pressure Josh Allen as well as this team did today.
Yeah.
I
would agree with that, Chris. I would agree with that. Absolutely.
So look, you see bright spots, yeah? I mean, overall with this defense coming down the stretch.
On the defensive side of the ball, yes, Chris, the defensive front that you just described moving forward next year, if you can get healthy in the back end, and you need another safety in the center field safety. Yeah. But you need linebackers, Chris. We've been talking about this year after year. You need somebody in the middle of that field. You need linebackers, and that's and if you can't bring them in, then that's going to continue to be your weakness. But yeah, I definitely see some promise for next year. That you know, if you bring in the right extra personnel, you could be a dominant defense,
especially up front.
Yeah,
and the two things like you say, the inside and the safeties. Because I think McCourty's done. So
no, he's done. Yeah, he's done.
But I like the emergence of Jack Jones, Marcus Jones in a slot situation, Jonathan Jones. I like your corner room. Yeah. And up front, I think that, they're stout, they're solid. Even Jennings made some plays towards the end of the season too. Yeah. So
and Jennings is somebody, Chris, who's is kind of on the fence what you do with him, but they'll probably let him come back to camp next year and see if he makes one more move forward. And then you got the other guy. They IR'd him again this year, the kid from Oklahoma, Perkins, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure what we're going to get out of him.
I'm not sure what he'll give you, but they didn't cut him. He went on IR, right?
Well, listen, and again, today, they got to do better. They have to do better on third down. Yeah. They were 7 of 12, Buffalo on third down. So New England's got to do a better job of getting off the field and not allowing those big, long conversions. They allowed 327 yards by Buffalo, but think about who they're playing and the circumstance they're playing in today. Yeah. Under the circumstances and what they had to deal with, I thought the defense showed up. And even the offense showed up too, Mark.
They did. They showed up. It wasn't good enough, but they showed up. Special teams was atrocious. Absolutely atrocious.
And that goes to coaching, and that's what we're going to be talking about next on the other side. This portion of the Pats Nation was presented by CORSO Law Group, Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. CORSOLawGroup.com. Allow us to be your voice. As promised, Coach's Corner is right after this.
It's that time again for a timeout for a message from one of our sponsors. No one ever thinks they will be in the need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. CORSO Law Group is Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Their 20-plus years experience and attention to detail has helped thousands of people all across this great country who found themselves in a situation in Arizona. So whether it's a traffic ticket or if you need reduced DUI or more serious issues, call or go online to CORSOLawGroup.com and talk with these expert attorneys who I know will help you. CORSO Law Group.
Back in with the Pats Nation. I never, that screen always comes back from Doc. Joe, I can't time it up right. I don't know that I've been able to time that up right on a live show all season long, but 35-23, the final score up in Buffalo. Patriots season ends today. And like all season long, it started in the offseason. It started in OTAs. with Belichick telling us, don't worry about it. We're not calling plays now anyway. Let's get to the coaching, Mark, because that's what sucks on this team. Coach's Corner, Joe.
Yep.
Coach's Corner.
I'll be happy next season if in that wash we don't have those guys.
Oh, right? Tell me about it.
That we're not showing Matt Patricia and Joe Judge. Mark, let's talk about the Cowboys. Next week, and I'll recap our season, final season recap of the Patriots. In this game, though, talk to me.
Cameron Archard is the special teams coach. Cameron Archard.
I saw you feverishly on that phone, too. You had to,
because I couldn't remember his last name. I knew his first name was Cameron.
Yeah.
Chris, how is he still on this team after last year?
Yeah, last
you
year.
brought him back. Why? Because you're paying him peanuts? Because you're not paying him anything, right?
No.
So you probably kept him because he's getting paid nothing, right? And he cost you probably a playoff berth today because without those two scores, listen, like you said during the game, maybe Buffalo goes down in scores anyways. I don't know. But the point is you gave them 14 points off of special teams. You might have had a chance to make the playoffs today. Not for that man, that one coach who's atrocious. He's awful, horrible. And if he's on this team past this week, he should be the first guy released. We're making a change. Get rid of him.
That's an easy decision, or it should be an easy decision. And you know what? For those of you out there that want to say, hey, look, this is on the players. Miles Bryant missed the tackle. He didn't make the tackle on the kick return. Yeah, I know. But they had it blocked up pretty well before that, okay? I don't know if there was a communications issue with the kick going down the center of the field instead of a squeeze kick. We've already talked about that. So I don't know if it's a communication issue. But damn it, Mark, it's a discipline issue. So here's how you relate it back to coaching. You relate it back because it's a discipline issue. This is the most undisciplined team I've seen a Belichick coach team in a long. With the amount of talent they have, is one of the most undisciplined.
That goes to Belichick, right?
Absolutely, it goes all the way up to Belichick, especially on special team. Well, that's his thing.
Yeah.
Special teams, Mark, is all about. It's all about attention to detail. That's what it's about. Attention to detail, discipline, and they don't have it anymore. Imagine saying that about a Belichick coach team, that their attention to details in the toilet.
Yeah. So what does that tell you? It's time for a change.
Yeah, it's time for a change. It's time for a change. And look, defensively, Mark, I'm okay with the direction they're going on defense. I'm all right with that, other than what we've already talked about, get some speed in the field. But I thought the play calling's good. I think that and you know what? You can directly relate this to Kid Belichick and Mayo, because they were left pretty much on their own all season long.
They were, because he had to worry about the offense.
Yeah, well documented. It's been well documented. We're not making that crap up. They've been left pretty much on their own. When the defense is on the field and Belichick is flipping pages, you see him like this, flipping. Those are offensive sheets he's looking at.
He's not looking at the defense. He's not looking at defensive sheets. You're absolutely right.
So I think those two guys, along with the rest of their staff, called great games, especially coming in the second half of the season when they really got into their own. Look, they were the number one team in takeaways or interceptions or whatever it was, either one or two in the league.
Yeah.
And they were right up there. So they have a lot of promise for that defense moving forward. No problem there. Mark, the other side of the ball. Today, talk about and I will say this. This was probably Patricia's best game in play calling today.
Okay. If you want, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Well, was it so good that because it was so bad all along, or what?
So that's what I was just going to say, Chris. So he was so bad all year. Jesus, it doesn't take much to make him look a little better. My word. But even today, though, right? So how many times? So on the 2-point conversion.
Yeah, listen, Joe, wait, Mark. Joe, I was sitting here waiting because when we watch, can I set this up real quick? When
Go
we
ahead.
were watching the game, I'm on the phone with Mark when they're going to try for that 2 points. He says, "Why are they going for 2 points?" It's, "Well, you're making a 3-point game. Fine." And when I say lost his mind, I think all of it came throwing up the whole season's worth of frustration. But go ahead, Mark.
So they run the play that they run. All right. You got everybody stacked on the right side. And you have Marcus Jones coming across on almost looks like a jet sweep. They've done that 5, 6 different times, and he never gets the ball. Well, Jesus, if Buffalo's watching film,
Yep.
they're going to immediately when they see that he's not getting the ball, give him the goddamn ball and see if he can beat somebody to pylon. That's what Miami does with Tyreek Hill. That's what Kansas City does with all those guys they have with speed. That's what San Francisco does with Deebo Samuel. That's what teams do. Give him the ball and see if he can get to the goddamn pylon. I don't understand it.
He would have walked. I think he would have walked in.
He would have walked in.
And Mark, that's astute. I'm telling you. Hey, Mark and I never agree with each other this much in the post game, but I'll tell you what, the film, and I don't know that one time this season they've ever actually run the jet in that situation with that quad stack to one
I
side
don't
of the
think
field.
they have, Chris. Well, listen, I don't remember it.
No, and therefore you're right, and that's the deficiency in the coaching. There it is.
Yeah.
Your lack of experience, your lack of understanding, just trying to Mark it. You know what it is? It's just trying to keep up. They're just trying to keep up.
Yeah.
Their play calling was better, but again, attention to detail.
Better.
How about the timeout?
That's every week, Chris. That's every single week. That's every week.
And if you're Belichick today, hey, listen, everybody out there, New England, we need to be in these press conferences. We need to get us into these press conferences to ask questions of these fools.
He was supposed to get us the press pass 8 weeks ago.
You know, get us into this because
I showed them pictures of you. They escorted me out with the police.
you got arrested. I don't blame you. But listen, somebody, I didn't hear his post game. We're on, so we can't hear what he's saying yet. We'll hear it after. But if there's not somebody in that press room pressing him about special teams, especially special
Chris, you know
teams
what he's going to
today,
say? Not good enough today. That's what he's going to say. Not good enough today. Not good enough. Not good enough. Yeah, okay.
They made more plays. They made a few. I guarantee you, he said they made a few more plays than we did today. What a bunch of bullshit that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, press this guy. Why do your special teams suck? Why? Why is it so bad? Why is the attention to detail not there? Why? I don't care if he says no 16 times. Out uncomfortable him. Sit there and keep asking the same question and let him keep answering the same thing and let the whole room want to crawl under a rock. I'm sick of it now. I've had it. Okay? It's fine when you're winning Super Bowls. You're not winning Super Bowls anymore. You know? Right?
You're all right. He's right. Joe, listen, Chris, you're 100% right. He's going to get the pass, and I guarantee you he'll be back here next year, and a couple of these buffoons will still be on the staff. I will make that prediction right now. What is it? January 8th? January 8th, 2023. He will have in August when minicamp. When minicamp opens, you will have some of these buffoons still on the staff. It's a guarantee.
Look, here's the thing. I'm going to tell you all this right now. Okay, if Matt Patricia is calling,
I'm not saying he's going to be the OC, but he'll still be on the staff.
If he's calling plays next season, I'm rooting for the Houston Texans from now on. I'm now with the first pick in the draft, actually the second pick in the draft now, because they blew it today. They wanted to go beat Indianapolis today, and Chicago took the number 1 pick from them. Those morons in Houston.
Imagine those idiots.
They got a lot of things to do on the offensive coaching
I'm going to
staff.
tell you, if you do not bring in, well, we'll talk about this next week, but if you don't bring in a quarterback instead of Mac Jones, and you start out slow next year, go 0-16. Go 0-16 and go and you can draft Caleb Williams from USC in the following draft because he's the closest thing to Mahomes that you're going to see coming out of college for the next 5 years. And tell Mac Jones to hit the road.
Trade Mac Jones. Bring back number 12.
Oh, here we go.
Let's go. Hey, listen. You wait and see. You said it too. Cowboys are going to go in The Cowboys are going to go into Tampa and they're going to lose.
Yeah, they are. They're going to lose in Tampa.
They're
You're
going
right.
to lose. So, Coach's Corner was presented by Studio 42 Designs for all your graphic design needs. Studio42designs.com. And we get to that point now, Mark, the last Sunday Stiff, Sunday Seat of the season. Joe, let's have it. Okay, Mark, go ahead. And then, you know what? I'll adjust if you call mine because I.
Oh, so my Sunday Stiff, Chris. I know who your Sunday Stiff is going to be, but I'm going to just call out Cam Archer, and he's a stiff. He's a bum. He has no business being on a professional football field as a coach, coaching special teams, and he's my stiff, my Sunday Stiff.
Okay, for me, it's Miles Bryant. Miles Bryant sucked in this game. He was terrible. He was awful. He factored in on the second kick return for a touchdown. He factored in on the scramble we already talked about where Josh Allen threw over his head. But you know what? If Miles Bryant is my Sunday Stiff, then Bill Belichick has got to be the Sunday Stiff because he's putting this fool on the friggin' field every friggin' damn week. Every damn week. Okay? So Miles Bryant is the Sunday Stiff with Belichick.
Joe, it took 17 weeks.
Yeah.
He finally agreed with me about Bill Belichick. Joe, it took 17 weeks.
And look, with the way this team showed up and actually fought today, I think somebody's deserving to sit at the table with us and eat today. Who's your Sunday seat?
My Sunday seat, Jawad Bentley.
You suck. You know what? You know what, Mark? That's it. I quit. It's going to be Catone and Joe from here on out.
No, Devontae Parker. I would have to give it to Devontae Parker, Chris.
Yeah. It's good pick. For me, you know, because it's the end of the season, you know, I need to give the defensive front. I need to give the entire defensive front my Sunday seat. It could sit with me. I don't think I can afford to feed them though. But nevertheless, the pressure package that they executed, the game plan was great, but the pressure package, the execution of it was fantastic. So they are my Sunday seat. And gentlemen, that is the show. The Pats Nation postgame was presented by Corso and Catone, the real deal, New England Field. Tune in Saturdays, 7 p.m. Eastern. And hey, you come back next Saturday to Corso and Catone because we're going to have on the Pats Nation season recap show. That's what the show's going to be. It's going to be all about the Patriots, recapping the season. We're going to talk about Mac Jones. We're going to talk about the coaches, the offense, the defense, and everything in between. So we want to hear from you in Heated Hotline, 855-313-PATS. Give us your thoughts on the Patriots season so we could talk about that on Corso and Catone next week. And make sure you come back every week to Corso and Catone, Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have Celtics, Bruins, hot stove topics, talking baseball. We're going to have, of course, our Heated Hotline and everybody's favorite, Catone's Comments, will be happening all season long, Saturdays, 7 p.m. Eastern. This is the last Pats Nation postgame show. And gentlemen, listen, for all you out there, first, thank you all for those of you who tuned in and watch and listen to us. Yeah. We certainly appreciate that with all our antics. And guys, Joe, nobody's better than our producer director, Joe Guarnieri, in the booth. Nope. He makes it all go, doesn't he, Mark?
Oh, he does a great job behind the scenes. The man behind the screen.
the man behind the screen. So Joe, excellent as always. Another great season. And Mark, again, my better half, right? So nothing goes without Mr. Catone. The knowledge he brings to the table, everything you come out with, you make me better at what I do, my friend. So thank you again for this season. It's been fun, hasn't it?
Well, I think his face is
and with that, Mark, you know what? And that's perfect, Joe, isn't it?
This is his perfect. This is it. This is best. I can't. Season.
You know what? I can't improve on that. So once again, thank you all for watching, tuning in. We will be back next season for the Pats Nation, the Patriots post-game show. For Mark Catone, who has already exited, Joe Guarnieri, I'm Chris Corso. Final score in this one, the Buffalo Bills 35, the Patriots 23. The Patriot season is over. We will see you next season.